So I hit print screen. Now I'm gonna just switch over to my here and hit paste. The easiest thing for me is just take this clone stamp, like you hold Control in GIMP. Photoshop's got it too. And I just kind of remove him out of there. You can probably turn off some of them HUD elements like this stuff, but now what I'll do is I'll crop this to like a 2:1 ratio. That way I can export it as a DDS file. So we'll say, let's go with that. Now I have to draw this marquee. Crop to selection. Now decals are they go up and down instead of side to side. So you have to rotate it. You turn the volume down more. So you have to rotate it. Rotate image. Transform, rotate clockwise. Now remember, where this thing runs out at the top, it's going to repeat at the bottom. So you will want some consistency. The easiest thing to do is just duplicate the layer and flip it vertically. Alright, that way the top is at the bottom and at the top. And then you would just erase pretty much enough stuff so that what you're actually doing is just leaving a little bit at the bottom and getting rid of the rest of it, because that is actually what is at the top, and that'll allow it to have like a seamless tile. I mean, you can also use seamless tile. I don't like to use the seamless tile that much if I can get away with it, just because it just does other crazy stuff with the damn texture. Like this, for example. Tile seamless. That ain't too bad, actually. I've seen it do a lot worse than that. But I'm not using that. Now the next thing, you'll want this to be able to blend. So you'll add an alpha channel. Add it. Damn, I'm getting over a sinus infection. I've been sick a few days. Add an alpha channel. That way you'll have a transparency background. So if you erase, you'll have transparency. And what I do, now this is dark as crap, because like I said, the sun wasn't shining. So I'll just increase the damn levels some, not too much. I don't want to clip the white. Like, levels will tell you how far you can go until you start clipping white. So I usually try to move that up as far as I can go. But you don't want something so white that, because the game makes things look whiter than what they really are. Like, white really is white, and clips really easy in the game. So I try to keep it like a, not too dark, not too bright. And the next thing is I'll draw a box like this in the middle, and then I'll invert it, like Control I, and that's telling it only affect this, not the center, but what's on the outside here, and feather it. I'll do about 250 pixels and delete. what that did is made a nice gradient where this fades out. It'll fade nicely on your map too. Then you can put other stuff on the side and it'll blend really good like that. Now since I am using a DDS format, now you can skip this step if you just want to save it as a PNG file. Just export it as just on your desktop. Uh, Actually, I'm not going to put it in my level. I'm going to put it on the desktop because I don't want to have to later go back and delete it. So I'll just call this road.png just to show you how it exported as a PNG file. You don't have to worry about any of that crap when you're exporting the PNG. Just export it. Now, if you want the thing to be about 1/3 the size and have better performance than a PNG, then you need to give it a power of 2 conversion, which we go to a power of 2. I can show you what those are real quick. You can just take a quick look. Power of 2 is anything this times this. I'll give you an idea. That's what the power of 2 resolutions are. So, looking at this up here, it seems like the closest number is 4096. I'll scale it to, it don't really need to be that damn high of a resolution. It'd probably go as low as 2048. That'd probably be just fine for the game. See, now it's 1024 by 2048, which is one of the power of 2s. Now we can export it as DDS, and we'll just send this straight to the level that we're going to be working in, which is Outrun Art. I'm going to put this in the 2K Decals folder. And what do I already have named some things in here? Let's call this just road1.dds. Now since this has transparency, you're going to use the BC3 format for compression type if you're doing DDS. And that'll pop up here. If it didn't have transparency, it'd be BC1. If it was a normal map, it'd be BC5, but in this case it's just BC3. And you want it to generate MIP maps, or it's going to have some bad aliasing on it. That's what the power of 2 allows it to do, is to scale the object by 2s so that there's no odd resolution that causes that flickering. JPEGs are bad about that. Took me a while to figure that crap out too. I didn't know why the hell the damn game was having problems with certain textures I made. Like, damn, why are they twinkling so bad? It's because they were JPEGs. PNGs don't have that issue, I don't believe. But DDSs will have it if you don't use MIP maps. So load the level. And since the last update, there is a step you have to take to make the decal work. Like, you all know, if you go to F11, you make your new material. So we'll just call this 2K road decal. Don't matter what you call it, but call it whatever you want to call it. And if you see this happen, then it's very likely that texture already existed. Yeah, I think I already made that one. Try to make another one. Decal road. All right, see, now this one wasn't already taken. This is shows me a little white box. So I know, oh, okay, I'm good with that one. So we'll go to color map, art, 2K decals, and where is that? Road. Is that it? road1.dds. What did I save that as? Yeah, road1. Okay, I forget. So, open. Now, for this to show up in a decal, which this is a decal here, which is hard to see with that white snow. Let's go over here. So if you don't know already, decal editor, hold down Alt to get a ball, left click, and there's your decal. But in order for the inspector to show you the material, it's not going to show up in here until you go down here to additional info and you type in with the proper caps and lowercase, capital R, lowercase OAD, capital A, lowercase ND, capital P, lowercase ATH. That's the first material tag, road and path. The second, all lowercase, BeamNG. Now it makes no difference from what I can tell what you put a ground type on, so decals don't use this feature. But what will be used is what is under it. So whatever terrain paint's under the decal will be how the decal behaves. So let's just save this really fast so that we can go into our inspector for our decal here. Which if you don't already, pick decal so you can pick it in the inspector window. And if you don't have that window or the material editor, they are up here. Material editor, inspector. Now we can select that new texture. Decal road 2K. Is that what I just called it? No. Is that it? God, I am getting old. I damn forgot. No, it's called Decal Road. Decal Road. There it is. Alright. So we'll make this. We'll hit Control A to pick all our nodes. And we'll reduce the width, say 6. Now remember, you got a texture length too. So if you wanted if you wanted a wide section of road, you'd have to compensate by increasing the texture length, or you'll end up with something like this. Which, let me turn on anisotropic filtering so you can see better what it's doing. Texture length. See, you don't want that, obviously. But if you were making a very thin road, that would probably work. Actually, you probably need to be thinner than that to work. But if you were making a wider road, you would want to increase the texture length so you got, the right aspect. Which if this was crop 2:1 in photo editor and its width is 10, you would think that the right texture length for that would be 5. I don't know, I'm not great at math, but I think that still don't look right. That does though. I don't know. Now, to get that feathering at the edge, what we have to do is in the material editor, go down to advanced and turn this on to lerp alpha. Now, anytime you have a transparency and you turn on lerp, you'll have to also turn on Z-Right if you want it to not be so dark. Now you can see this feathers really nicely at the edge here. And since it's alpha blend, you can adjust the amount of alpha. So the way I did mine, if you look at this, see this is going over a snow decal. I mean a snow terrain paint, I'm sorry. But you don't see the snow unless you reduce the amount of alpha. So if I made it invisible, you'd see all snow and all asphalt or whatever else is there. But if I just make a faint amount, say somewhere around there, I still see the asphalt, I still see the decal, and I see the snow. That gives me more flexibility. If I want to do something like a snow map like this, have part of the road looking like it is kind of like in the ice a bit, and then where the cars have been driving is I pick asphalt, you know, and then I turn the pressure up. You know how cars kind of make that part of the road kind of melt a little bit. So that's kind of what I did over here when I was doing this. I just had different, I have a few different terrain paints that just the blend, you get better blending if you use a decal, like I said, with a blend. There is another way to blend them, or if you don't want to use alpha, because if you see, if I get over here, my performance is starting to crap out on me. It's because all these alpha transparencies. The alternative to doing an alpha to get a little better performance would be to, and this is what I believe, I'm not 100% sure, turn off the lerp alpha, turn on alpha clip, and then increase your threshold. But as you can see, you no longer get that very good gradient. The only way you could really do something about that would go back into here, turn this mode to say dissolve, and what that'll do is give you kind of like a airbrushed gradient, where it's really a dithering is what it is. We'll export this. I'll call it road2.dds, and then it is still using transparency, so it'd be BC3, and we'll load that one in and show you what that one will look like. Which, you know, some people's systems have different you know, you might have less or more headroom. Now, to make this work, you have to go down to advanced, go to overlay, and then also put it in the overlay. Not overlay, you dumbass. Opacity. But you have to adjust the opacity. By adjusting the alpha. So I don't like using this way. Let me just put that at the default 255 and just move it here. So you can see how it starts to slowly chisel away with like a splattered kind of look, dissolved, whatever. So this will be a little better on your system, but then you get the extra little twinkles and stuff that, you know, may be something you don't like. So I don't like that. That's just not. I'd just rather have it looking like that. Now, if you wanted to have kind of like a little reflection of this, you know, the sky, just a little something, you just pick the reflectivity map, just add it. And then you have to turn it on, reflection map, put it on level. Now, if you don't put a map in here, this will be all you get. You won't get anything else. You have to put something in here to tell it what to be somewhat reflecting, right? So if you took that out, and that's the only option you get. You know, it's either on or it's on. There's no nothing else you can do. But you know, that's if you want it to have kind of look like this wet look. Now I have to reduce this some more to see that snow. And so now you get a little snow, you get a little reflection.